Now, just below me here is Flinders Street in Melbourne. And P2P Live this week is coming to you live from our Melbourne office of People to People, where we're going to talk about everything jobs and employment, because it's 12:30 on a Friday afternoon, and this is P2P Live. My name is Mark Smith. I am Group Managing Director of People to People in Australia and the UK, and Frog Recruitment in New Zealand. And we've got a jam-packed broadcast for you today. We've got the stat of the week, which is the wage price index. How much is an appropriate pay rise? So we'll explore that with this week's release of the WPI. We've also got two jobs, hot jobs in Australia. We've got a job in New Zealand. We've got a job in the UK for all of those looking to maybe go across to the other side of the world, or you're on a working holiday and you're going home. And we'll be talking about how should you ask for a pay rise with Rachel from our Perth office. And I've been told it's a glorious 22 degrees over there in Perth today. So we'll stay tuned for that one. And finally, we've got the Twitter poll from last week. So a lot to talk about. Let's get into this week's Stat of the Week. So this week, we had a remarkable number released by the Australian Bureau of Statistics, and that is the wage price index. And it's gone up 3.7% on an annual basis, or 0.8% in the last quarter. This is the highest rate for a wage price increase, annual rate, for 10 years. And you can see that clearly on the graph that I've got here in front. So the quarterly bar is the blue bar at the bottom, and the annualized rate is the line at the top. And you can see this as we've risen out of COVID, that we've got this continuous increase up to 3.7%. So the last time it was up at this sort of level, we're talking about September 2012. So it looks good. It should feel good, but then we've got inflation. And it was really interesting. Yesterday I had was hosted by Seek, and they had their indexed advertised salary movements on their platform, and they're running at about 5%. So 5% on Seek for their index values, 3.7%. It is definitely, wages are on the rise, but they're not keeping up with inflation at the moment. But still, it's good news, and that's this week's Stat of the Week. So we've got a couple of hot jobs this week in Australia. And the first one is a HR advisor. It's in Victoria. It's paying $35 to $37 per hour, where you'll be monitoring and actioning the HR inbox. That'll be pretty stressful, would be my guess on that one. You'll be contributing to contract generation, completing compliance, communicating with the teams. You need to have worked as a HR admin previously. That's certainly going to put you at the top of the pack, and in a fast-paced environment. Will Hillgrove is the person you need to speak to from our Melbourne team, right here on Flinders Street. 03 9098 7434. You can just give him a call, or you can just hit apply now on the links below here on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. We're also live on Spaces in Twitter. So you can just hit apply now and apply for that particular HR admin role. Here's the next hot job in Australia, and that's a legal assistant also in Melbourne. Thought we'd go for a real Melbourne angle because I'm here today. 90 to 110,000 annually, managing clients in their databases, monthly billing, drafting court documents, previous experience as a legal assistant, and proven experience within a family or criminal law firm will put you at the top of the heap. You need to contact Natalie Clark from the Melbourne team, Natalie C at people2people.com.au, or 9098 7424, or just simply hit apply now. That's our 2 hot jobs in Australia this week. Okay, we've got a job in London here, and I can see that just on LinkedIn, whilst we've got the before we talk about this role, that Manish says that interesting jobs. What kind of visa requirements do you need to work in Australia? Unfortunately, people-to-people can't help you with those visas. But if it's a temporary role, we have working holiday visas from countries throughout Australia. Throughout the world. So the UK, South Africa, there's agreements with Canada, the US, some European countries. So you'd need to explore that on the Australian website for access to those visas, or you can go for permanent, or you can be sponsored. And unfortunately, we cannot facilitate sponsorship with our clients. So here's this top job in the UK. It's paying 28 to 30,000 pounds. It's in London. It's an administrator's role. You need to contact Hannah Scanlon from our London team, and you'll be supporting a team by sending out quotes, processing orders, maintaining sales data, tracking orders. You need to have proven experience as a sales administrator previously and great time management skills. You can hit apply now, or you can contact Hannah in our London team. Now, we also have an opportunity in New Zealand, and I think for this one, we've got a video from our sister company, Frog.
Hey guys, we're working with a healthcare company that's looking for some after-hours rostering coordinators to join their team for the next 3 months. Now, this role is one that has a little bit of shift work, so the hours are from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. or 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. So if you're a bit of an early bird or a night owl, this might be the role for you. It does involve a lot of scheduling and rostering of support workers and care staff across a range of facilities, as well as managing any complaints that come through and coaching coordinators and managers on systems when needed. You will have to put your foot down at times, so if you do have that ability to push back, that would be great as well. And some administration and scheduling experience would be good as well. It is based in the CBD and paying about $28 an hour plus 8% holiday pay. It's a 40 hours a week role and starting as soon as possible. So if you feel like this is a role for you, please get in touch below.
So if you try again, this
one of the hardest things to do is to ask for a pay rise. And I'm now going to have a quick chat to Rachel Adams from our Perth team. And Rachel, I can hear somebody talking in the background there. That's really loud.
Oh, is it? It's quite buzzing here in the Perth office today.
Yeah, there must be lots going on. So if you wanted to ask for a pay rise, how do you go about doing that?
Well, when asking for a pay rise, it's important to approach the conversation strategically and professionally. Many employees can find salary conversations quite difficult and would rather change jobs sometimes than instigate these conversations. So it is a tough subject. But we've got some tips here to help you navigate the process. So prepare and highlight your value. So before discussing any pay rise, take the time to evaluate your contributions and accomplishments in the role. You can make a list of specific achievements, skills, and responsibilities that demonstrate your value to the company, which do prove very beneficial. You can also research salary benchmarks. So it's important to go into this negotiation with realistic understandings of the current market for your position. So you should research salary ranges for similar roles in the industry, also considering factors like location, experience, and you can use this to make your more compelling case for a pay increase. And also schedule a meeting with communication effectively. So Request a meeting with your supervisor to discuss your desire for an increase in your salary. Don't go in full guns blazing. You should always approach the conversation professionally and confidently whilst highlighting your achievements. Explain why you believe you deserve the pay rise and demonstrate the value you bring to your organization. Be prepared for potential negotiation, but have an open mind to consider alternative options such as additional benefits or professional development opportunities. In a case of immediate salary is not feasible sometimes. But those are some helpful tips that we think might be able to assist in your next pay discussion.
Yeah, look, I mean, the one, if I had some advice for people out there right now, if you don't ask, you don't get. And
Exactly.
I think that a lot of people just are too, they're on the back foot and they never ask. And so the advice that I give to people when they come in to see me for before to help them secure another role, and it was all about money, the very first thing I would say is please go and ask your boss for a pay rise before you go anywhere else. And you had some really good tips there. Just on the salaries too, just we have a site called salary.com.au where you can actually look up your salary, or you can find our salary and market report on our website as well. So there's plenty of opportunities to get to do some research beforehand. So so some really good tips, Rachel. Now, clearly the Perth market is moving. What do you say? I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but what's happening over there in WA in terms of the market?
We're quite busy within the temporary market at the moment. Lots of people needing that assistance for quite a flourishing time. It's a bit quieter on the permanent side. I think coming up to those end of year financial reviews, people are kind of waiting it out to see if they can have those pay discussions. So, but yeah, busy as always. It's been a really good year for us so far.
Yeah, I went, as I said before, I went to an offsite with Seek, and they were saying that mining was it was back, and it seems to be stepping in, and there's a lot of movement from over east with people fly in, fly out of even Brisbane, for example. Some good salaries there. It's not the market space that we operate in, but there's certainly lots of work in WA for sure. Okay, all right. Thanks, Rachel. Now, if somebody wants to have a quick chat to you about asking for a pay rise or maybe to get a job in WA, how should they get in touch with you?
Yep, you can reach me at rachela@people2people.com.au or feel free to give me a call on 0861606206 for a confidential chat.
Great, fantastic. And for those who don't know, Rachel was sort of a last-minute person. So I just want to say thank you for coming on to P2P Live today. It was great. Okay, let's move on and let's have a look at this week's Twitter poll results. Now, before we do that, actually, Jacob, we've got Som on LinkedIn here says, he's saying it's either job visa or tourist visa. On a tourist visa, if you wanted to come to Australia, you're not going to be able to work. On a student visa, you can work 20 hours a week, but on a tourist visa, you're not going to be able to work. So otherwise, you'd need to be sponsored, or you need to have a working holiday visa or permanent residency or something along those lines. But I would encourage you to check out the Australian government website on that. Okay, let's have a look at this week's Twitter results. Okay, so we said last week, what's your preferred working arrangement in 2023? Well, only 15%, and I think I voted in that, by the way. Only 15% full-time working in the office, 50% hybrid, and a full third of people full-time working from home. Now, you know what I find that's so interesting? 34% want to work from home, where the reality is, and this is a pretty well-known stat, 60% of all jobs can't be done from home. So it's pretty much everyone else where the job can be done from home wants to work from home. So that's what that's telling me from the Twitterverse. What about this week's question? How do you feel about your current salary? Now, given that we had a 3.7% rise in wage price index this week, are you satisfied with your current salary? It isn't in line with the market. It doesn't reflect my workload. Jump onto our Twitter feed at People2People or on LinkedIn and have your say, and we'll give you the results. Same time next week, 12:30 for P2P Live. We'll see you then.